So if you've been a film photography enthusiast in the last few years, you may have noticed a growing trend. Maybe trend is a strong word. I mean, it's happened twice that I can think of, but that's kind of a lot. I'm talking about the rise of film-based social media platforms. That's right. I'm talking about places like Grainery and the most recent addition, Newgrain. If you don't know what these are, then let Newgrain explain. Here's what it says on Newgrain's website. Newgrain is a platform dedicated to analog photography for you to share your best work, connect with other photographers, and master your craft. Forget about chasing likes or followers. The focus is truly on your art. While social media platforms are designed to keep you addicted, Newgrain is designed to keep you delighted. Now, this video isn't aiming to be a review of these two platforms, but rather a discussion on the concept as a whole, and I want to focus on what Newgrain said up there. And I'll get my own feelings out of the way. I enjoy the hell out of these apps. It just wouldn't be typical overthinker energy of me if I didn't ask myself, why? Some of you may watch these Let's Talk videos and you say, Josh, the answer is simple. The answer is never that simple, and I stand by that 6 ways to Sunday. This is also a bit of a sequel to a recent video I made, which was about the film look, and you should go check that one out if you haven't already. In that video, I discussed the dissemination of analog photographs into a digital space, and the way that some of us feel that we have to announce our allegiance to a community, both vocally and aesthetically. Honestly, if you haven't watched that video, just pause this one, go check that one out, and then come back and finish this one. I'll wait. All right, you all caught up? Good. So the cool thing about places like Grainery and Newgrain is that it removes any sort of pretension. It removes the need for clarity. You go on there and you look at people's work and you appreciate the work for what it is up front without a qualifier. Like, I don't ever see myself going on Grainery and scrolling and saying things like, oh, I actually really love this. It looks amazing, and it was shot on film, because I don't need to do that. Film photography has unfortunately become a bit of an asterisk. It's no longer the norm and therefore is a qualifier. So you go to places like Newgrain and you start admiring people's work and you feel like you're entering into a community where people don't have to further entice you into noticing them. I mean, it shouldn't be a secret that sometimes the fact that something was shot on film makes it more impressive given all the steps that can go wrong along the way. From a camera malfunction, light leaks, developing malfunctions, to scanning and post-processing, there's a bit more chemistry and craft involved in film over digital. Cue the people telling me that digital is just as fickle. This isn't a debate between film and digital. But if you're curious, my 2 cents are that I don't give a f***. Film is great, digital is great. At the end of the day, the image is what matters. And that takes me back to the topic at hand. Are apps like these necessary when the medium comes second to the impact of the image? And I don't know that that's concrete. Opinions will probably vary on that. But I'm willing to bet that a majority of the people out there watching this channel and watching other film photography YouTubers value the images that are produced over how they are produced. Yeah, I'd put money on that. After all, the medium is just a tool, right? I mean, what truly matters is the story and emotion conveyed through the photograph. Like, would you rather that this photo was shot digitally or that it didn't exist at all? Right, I thought so. You did say the first one, right? My point is that for the concept of apps like these, sure, the images take center stage. But I think the thing that is worth noting is that there's an element of gatekeeping going on. And before you leap to your keyboard and start typing in the comments, I'm not saying that they should allow digital photographs onto their platform. It's a niche experience for a reason. I mean, like, pickleball players go play on a pickleball court and play their game, and they rightfully exclude people who want to play tennis, even if the two games are similar in nature. So no, I don't think Grainery and Newgrain need to start allowing digital photos onto their platform, but I do believe that they could benefit from doing something different. As a matter of fact, I think we all could, and I'm talking about curated education. You see, the thing about apps like these is that they are, by nature, exclusionary. And as I pointed out, that isn't always a bad thing, because communities need to feel safe inside their bubbles. When outsiders come a-knockin', there's a threat of mockery, threat of ideals collapsing or being challenged. There's a threat of not feeling so special, because when everyone is special, no one is. By distinguishing themselves from the mainstream, members can develop a unique group identity and a sense of solidarity. This shared identity contributes to a feeling of belonging and purpose within the community. And this is common among all communities. The desire to remain niche is a strong one. I mean, take a look at music subcultures. They often have passionate followers who identify with a particular genre or style. And when a subculture gains mainstream attention, some longtime fans may resent newcomers who are seen as bandwagon fans. This tension can be seen in various music scenes, from punk rock to electronic dance music. Exclusivity can be a strength and a limitation. While it helps maintain the integrity and identity of the community, it can also hinder growth and innovation. This is where curated education comes into play, and it could be a valuable addition to these platforms. It could help bridge the gap between newcomers and experienced film photographers, fostering a sense of mentorship and community growth, offering resources, tutorials, even challenges that cater to photographers of various skill levels. It could make these platforms more inclusive without diluting their niche appeal. Ultimately, the desire to remain niche is understandable, but it shouldn't come at the expense of potential growth and enrichment. Finding a balance between exclusivity and accessibility is a challenge that these platforms could consider as they continue to evolve. In the end, it's the passion for photography and the desire to create and share meaningful images that should remain at the forefront of these discussions. So in that respect, I'd say the Newgrain is right on the money with its mission statement. At least they're in a good place. The focus is on the images, and that's clear from their user interface. It's actually kind of tricky to find someone's profile or even to like an image itself. You have to click on it just to be brought to another screen and then like it. So let's talk about the second half of what Newgrain has on their website. Forget about chasing likes or followers. The focus is truly on your art. While social media platforms are designed to keep you addicted, Newgrain is designed to keep you delighted. So this is great in theory. The idea here is to revert back to the good old days without smartphones and the constant competing for precious, dwindling attention spans. In recent years, social media addiction has emerged as a significant concern in the realm of mental health. Folks are compulsively checking and engaging with social media like Instagram and Threads and X, often to the detriment of their overall well-being. This shouldn't be news to anyone out there. The constant barrage of notifications, likes, comments, and shares creates a dopamine-driven feedback loop, encouraging users to spend more time on these platforms seeking validation and approval. In contrast, Newgrain's focus appears to be on artistic fulfillment and the removal of metrics like likes and followers aims to mitigate some of these negative effects. Or, just to be clear, not remove them completely, but by making them more challenging to just throw around. By creating an environment where users are encouraged to prioritize their creative process and the quality of their art over external validation, Newgrain aims to offer a reprieve from the anxiety-inducing aspects of traditional social media like Instagram. Will they be successful at it? I'm not so sure. I'm usually a glass half full kind of guy, but this is a tricky nut to crack because you got to think about user behavior dynamics. It's challenging to change ingrained user behavior patterns. I even see it in myself. Social media addiction and the pursuit of likes and followers are deeply rooted in the psychology of instant gratification and social validation. So some people out there might doubt that Newgrain can effectively wean its users off of these behaviors because breaking habits like these requires significant effort and behavioral changes. I remember back in the early days of Grainery, which kind of seems to have fizzled a bit in recent months, the creator was talking about not including a like button at all. And I'm not sure what happened, but eventually he felt the need to include it for the success of the business. And business sort of being the key word there. The history of social media has shown that many platforms, initially launched with noble ideals, have later succumbed to commercial pressure. I'm not saying that Newgrain will, I'm just saying is all. There's also potentially a controversial take on the whole idea of removing incentive devices such as likes. Because while Newgrain's emphasis on artistic fulfillment is commendable, I can't help but wonder whether the absence of metrics like likes and followers and comments could result in lower quality content. Let me explain. You have to think about the fact that the competitive nature of traditional social media platforms like Instagram can be a powerful motivator for content creators to produce their best work. The pursuit of likes and followers and comments and shares often pushes users to refine their content, to invest in higher quality equipment, and engage with their audience. By removing these metrics or making them harder to attain, there could be worry that Newgrain might eliminate a key driving force for constant improvement. Also, you got to think about the other benefits of those metrics. Traditional social media platforms provide immediate feedback through likes, comments, and shares, allowing photographers like myself to gauge the impact of their work, or, lack thereof. Without clear indicators of engagement, artists may struggle to assess whether their work resonates with their audience. And at the end of the day, we're all a little vain, right? And don't take that as an insult. There may actually be an evolutionary benefit to seeking validation from others, because seeking approval may have provided survival advantages in our ancestral past by fostering social bonds and cooperation within groups. Humans have a natural tendency to engage in social comparison. It's a way to assess one's place within a social group and to gather information about societal norms and values. Vanity and validation seeking can be seen as byproducts of this natural inclination to understand our standing in society. Traditional social media platforms introduce quantitative metrics in the form of likes, followers, shares, comments, and these metrics provide immediate, quantifiable feedback, fueling the desire for validation. Should we look down on vanity and validation seeking? I think it's a valid question. And as with all great or awful things in life, it's about moderation. Seeking some degree of validation or external feedback can be healthy and motivating, but it becomes problematic when it becomes the sole source of someone's self-esteem or self-worth. The relationship between vanity, validation seeking, and the internet is a very complex one. While elements of these traits may be inherent to human nature, the internet has undeniably amplified and transformed the way that it manifests in modern society. How we view these traits should be context dependent, considering their impact on individuals and on the broader culture. Encouraging a balanced approach to self-validation that prioritizes well-being, authenticity, and meaningful connections is a potential way to address some of the concerns associated with excessive vanity and validation seeking. You know, there's a reason why I call these videos Let's Talk, and that's because it isn't something that has a concrete answer at the end of it. It can't be wrapped up and tied with a bow. And frankly, I don't remember what the question is. Something about why I enjoy using Newgrain and Grainery. I guess I enjoy them for the same reasons I worry for their future success. Because they offer a departure from traditional social media. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. If you couldn't tell, this video is not sponsored by Newgrain, and they didn't ask me to talk about them on my channel. But I will say that I think apps like these are a tremendous step in the right direction and are worthy of the support of everyone watching. Just like I said in the beginning, I enjoy using the app a lot. Just typically when I'm not doom scrolling on Instagram and wondering why the algorithm f***s me so much and my follower count is plateaued and I hardly get any likes on my photos. So when I'm not doing that, yeah, I enjoy using Newgrain. I obsess over these things more than I outwardly let on. I'll admit it right here. I imagine that I'm not alone in it, and it's probably a pretty healthy thing to admit it out loud. But it's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be noticed. And we can't ignore these things. There's a reason one of the most romantic and poetic things you could say to another person is 3 words. It's not "I love you," it's "I see you." It has weight to it, you know? I don't just perceive you, I see you. So Newgrain and Grainery, if you're out there and still operational, I see you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and I know that they're a bit of a break in format, but I enjoy talking about these things, even if I am overthinking them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos are released. Head into the comments, let me know if you're using Grainery or Newgrain and what you think of them. If you don't have an account, what the hell? Make an account, see what all the fuss is about, and I'll see you guys next time.